So before I discuss the political arguments of the subject, I'd like to share a few general facts about the relation of the level of crime rates in places with more gun control laws compared to the states that don't have nearly as many. Let's begin with comparing Chicago, Illinois versus Houston, Texas. Because Houston and Chicago are so alike in population, density, and criminal activities such as the drug trade and human trafficking, they are a great comparison regarding the restrictions on concealed weapons and general gun laws. Remarkably, Houston's murder rate is actually 2/3 that of Chicago's. Narrowing it down to specifically Chicago, Illinois, this city has the strictest gun laws in the country and has had over 4,000 victims of gun-related crimes last year. Illinois remains the only state with a law that makes carrying a concealed weapon illegal, and lawmakers are introducing even more laws restricting gun ownership. Chicago is ranked the third largest city in the United States. As of 2016, its population is at 2,704,958, with the percentage growth from 2000 at negative 6.5%, while Houston ranked the fourth largest city, population at 2,303,482, with a rate of growth at 16.4%. The difference in numbers and percentages are mind-blowing. On the other hand, Houston, Texas has had very few gun laws. In fact, the only major restrictions are under handguns. Open carry for long guns such as rifles and handguns are not forbidden by the law unless in a situation caused by concern or alarm resulting in the person feeling threatened. With that being said, what does it take to obtain a license in Illinois? There is a series of federal and state criminal and mental health checks. However, notice that the process does not require any gun safety training. State police acknowledge that the application process can last over 30 business days. To purchase a gun in Houston, you are required to fill out an application, turn in 2 photos of yourself and an ID card with your thumbprint to the police department, go through a background check, and ending with a course in gun safety training. Then within 60 days you receive your license in the mail. Pretty simple yet effective. Moving on to another topic. Majority of the time, mass shootings occur in gun-free zones. For example, the recent Texas shooting happened in a church, and tragically, we lost many people. The damage could have been worse, but a nearby resident with an assault rifle shot the shooter before he could do so. This resident stopped the shooter from fleeing the crime scene, and as police were led to believe, possibly doing more damage to another church that is down the street. Who knows how many lives this man saved? Majority of the time, mass shootings result in the shooter having some sort of mental illness or emotional distraught. In a recent study from 1987 to today, in 37 high school shootings, the same sort of personal issues were found within the shooter's profile. They were bullied, abused, or just doubt themselves, and the belief that they have a purpose of survival. Therefore, I believe investing in more research to identifying signs of mental and emotional issues and behaviors is more valuable than spending money on taking guns away from citizens and depriving them of the ability to defend themselves or their families with the possibility that a dangerous situation may occur. Personal protection as well as protection of loved ones is extremely important. Concealed carry is a smart and effective way to help prevent someone from harming you. If the government legalized concealed carry everywhere, it would less likely be that people would risk their lives by trying to mug someone who will most likely be armed. By the government wanting to pursue the removal of guns from households, they are depriving people of their ability to stand up for themselves against people who dare invade their homes. Criminals will obviously have more confidence breaking into a home where they know the family living there are defenseless and won't be armed. According to some people, guns are the issue and not the people operating them. That's like saying pencils misspell words. For example, to lay a pencil on the ground and tell it to write, is it going to do anything? No. For a gun to fire, the trigger must be pulled. Guns are simply a tool or an object. Just because an object is deadly doesn't make it kill people. Knives are the same way. They are kitchen utensils unless used otherwise. Some countries with gun bans actually have higher crime rates because citizens don't have a good way to protect themselves. There are 9 European countries with the lowest rate of gun ownership that have a combined murder rate that is 3 times greater than the 9 European nations that have the highest gun ownership. Criminals who have the desire to hurt others will do it in places where they feel no threat, where people have no way to protect themselves against criminals. No one is going to break into a house where they think they will most likely get shot, knowing every house is armed. As we all know, Harvard is a very credible school. There was a study published in the Harvard Journal of Law and Public Policy that discovered crime rates are lower in places with more guns. There is a very strong positive correlation between more guns and less crime. The reality is criminals don't want to get shot. The United States is the #1 nation with the highest rate of gun ownership and is only 28th in the world regarding gun-related murders per 100,000 people. The number one country with the highest murder rate is Honduras, with an average of 90.4 murders per 100,000 people. Only about 30% of over 850,000 guns in Honduras are officially registered, and as many as 80% of homicides are firearm related. Get this. After the city of Kennesaw, Georgia passed a law requiring every home to have a gun, the crime rate dropped by more than 50% over the course of the next 23 years. And there was an 89% decline in burglaries. Obviously, this was effective, not only statistically, but very quickly. Who stops a bad person with a gun? A good person with a gun. In my opinion, if we educate people on gun safety, require them to have a mental health interview as part of the application process, and have background checks periodically over time, guns in citizens' hands is definitely a positive approach to minimizing gun-related crimes. In conclusion, statistics are facts and are undeniable. I hope I've shown you how important it is to support our previous leaders who established the Second Amendment and to be a proud American. A well-regulated militia, beginning necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms, shall not be infringed.